enough time.
And I can get, see now I'm 6 minutes late, but I can get this time back. And when I leave Brentwood,
You'll be 10 to 12 minutes.
yeah, exactly. I can't get back for a long time.
No, eh? Wouldn't it be interesting if this key would come out of VP, one of these sign-ups? As you said though, they need more Northwork for self-drivers, like up here. You said they took it all away? Are you thinking of doing like a regular sign up or? But I mean, as you said, you would probably get bored.
I would get bored. But it would be nice to have a regular routine, you know?
Yeah, so that.
I'll see.
But I don't know if it's just me, but since they took those doors off, there's not as many people huddling up. But what I do is like I give about a 5-minute thing before the bus arrives. I'm not waiting outside for 10 minutes. Not there. Like if I'm at Brentwood, I don't mind, but that station it's a no-no. And if I see the bus and he sits there for a few minutes, I get on right away. Because there's one key where he's in at 54, 1354, and leaves at 02, 1402. Yeah, you're on Glenmore for 4 minutes in that one high-speed spot. Right, because you go from Chinook and then you go straight on Glenmore. You didn't like it, eh? Right, because it's basically the max till kind of, right?
Yep.
But if you're doing the 36 and 41, it's a lot. Imagine if you were going 100 for 8 hours straight almost. The bus wouldn't make it. And without a governor, that would be dangerous. They say 120, right? I wonder if it would make it up to 120 because that's what the governor says. It's still not 100%, right? It's gonna take, with all that, it always takes a while, right? Like he's sleeping a lot lately. Seat back into place finally.
Just wants to attack you.
I've been fighting with it this whole rot. Don't you hate when something fights you? You're trying to... You know, this is 84-4. Unfortunately, our oldest bus in this series is gone or at Stony 7704. You've probably driven that one a bunch. I believe that bus in April would be 22 years old. If you were running the transit system for those older buses, what would be the maximum life you would give them?
Maybe 15 years.
Not 20?
20?
Not 20 for you? Like, I mean, and if you're a smaller transit system, like, you know what, if I had good old buses, and they were really, really good, strong units, of course 20 years I would get out of them. If it's a strong unit and you got spare parts, why not?
Yeah.
But for buses like 77, 63, I would not give that thing 14 years. But I watched a video on it. One guy posted a video. They did extensive repairs. It still sounds kind of worn, but it sounds better than what it was because it broke down in August and it returned in December. I will say I'm not trying to brag or anything, because I'm definitely not a big Nova fan by any means, but this one's probably one of the decent ones I've been on that's half decent. Everything is running okay. Oh man, this damn thing wants to just have it out for me today. And you're probably just sitting up there laughing at me, fighting with the seat. You know what? There may be a screw loose or something. I don't know. But sometimes the older buses do that too. Something that holds it up might be wearing down. I almost forgot how many big hills there is on this route. You need a VP bus for this. But then again, remember what happened on the 11 when you gave her too much uphill? But you ended up keeping that bus, didn't you? There was, and did it leak at all anymore through the night? I smelt it ever so slightly, like, you know, the candy smell. That's what antifreeze has. But it never acted up after that. I wanted to tell you, in the summer, if you're driving the 82, do you shut these buses off or do you leave them running? Because I know they're newer.
Yeah, I would just leave it running.
But with the oldies, you just shut them off?
Yeah, I mean, as you know, there's no time on this one anyhow, so you wouldn't really have a chance.
Like, if you had 20 minutes, you maybe shut it off. Because you're just wasting gas, right? That 82's busier going the other way. He must have got all the school kids. So I'm just curious, what way do you take back to Stony from Brentwood?
Well, I finish out there.
Oh, right.
And I just hop on the ring road and stay on it all the way until I get to Deerfoot. And I go on Deerfoot, Country Hills Boulevard. It's right there.
So you must be sections where you're going at least 90. You always got to be on your toes with barefoot though, no matter what time of night it is.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I mean, if you were finishing at 5 o'clock, they would have to give you 30 minutes.
Yeah, probably. But it should be pretty quiet today. 8 o'clock.
And you've probably broken down going back to the garage before. That's the worst.
Yeah, I broke down, like, yeah, I thought, but I just keep going. Started back up and keep going.
But I mean, if it's really bad, have you ever gotten another driver to pick you up that's
I
going?
never had that. But one time I was coming back to Anderson and my bus kept going and I was like, I don't care, I'll money, I want to get back. I don't want to sit here waiting.
You were probably, come on, old girl, you can make it. What was wrong with it? Something was overheating, probably.
Yeah, I think that was the transmission. That seems to be the main thing.
Or you know what? Or the coolant leaks, so the engine gets hot.
Yeah, that's another one. Just a hot thing.
There's old Novas. Do you want to switch?
Nope. Nope, I don't want to.
They're diesel. You like those. 8191 like you had on this route. You wouldn't want that? Or a Winnipegger? So it says 80, but you lock in at 70 going up this hill.
Yeah, I'm doing about like 62 right now, and I got a pedal low now.
Now, if you had a VP bus, no problem. You'd be up at 80, I'd imagine, right now.
Yeah, I think this is fast as we're gonna go.
Imagine if you had 70 on a 1 today up this hill, she would be pulling. What a beautiful day, eh?
Yeah, it really is.
So when is your flight then?
Saturday at like 9:40 in the morning.
So that's why you're taking Friday off.
Yeah, just to kind of get organized a bit.
Are you gonna have a few down there, a few beverages? Like, come on, it's Mexico, right? You keep getting my mind on like carbonated chocolate milk, eh? That would be weird, but it would be an experiment to try. There's some 12-year-olds that hopped on the other day and it was funny. He's like, they still have their passes. It's like, don't worry about it. And he told them, you don't need a pass anymore. They just let me know if you're 12 or under. That makes it more of a convenience though. trains for Stampede this year. I'm hoping more new units come in for Stampede. I don't think the transit was very smart in a few ways. I think having even 3 more sets of U2s would help. But then again, you have a safety part, right? They may have broken down and rusting out really bad. So there's that too. Imagine if you had to do the 2-hour thing back to the garage, take the bus, and then take the 8 and 161 back. You would probably not be home till 9. Is that our bus doing that? You're hammering the brakes too much, laugh out loud. You said you had a bus like that on the 149, but it smoothed out.
That's right.
You said he may have been braking too hard.
I think so, yeah.
This is a 2019, right?
Oh, yep. It is.
I think these are built in Quebec.
Really?
Yeah, maybe, I'm sure.
I don't know. Maybe.
Because rather than this, we have Flyer Industries, right?
Yeah, that's Winnipeg, right?
Yeah. I wanted to tell you, bus 2004 bus 7888 hasn't ran since May 22, 2020. It's almost been 3 years.
Wow.
That's the only Anderson bus that hasn't been out. They might be waiting for parts though, right? A lot of buses are out right now. Are you back on time?
Yeah, I mean, technically I'm about a minute and a half late,
But it won't, on Transit 55, if I look at you right now, it won't show up.
yeah, until I'm actually 5 minutes late. Okay?
So that must have been fun getting a call from control. But you probably didn't, you were used to not having time at that time point.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, oh.
You must have been like, oh shoot, sorry, right?
Yeah, exactly. You can tell it's a slow day when they're calling you at like 4:30. Like, it's like, guess you got nothing else going on? Okay. Part of the job.
And they can't look at you as much. Like right now, they're probably slammed with everything.
Well, maybe, but the weather.
Trying to get everything out.
The weather's nice, so they, you know, it depends, right? If there's a big accident or something,
Or if one of the buses quit.
tie them up. Yep.
I saw a VP. I didn't tell you. I was on my way back home from doing a 41 one day recently, and a VP bus was on a tow truck, chained up.
Yeah.
It broke.
Yeah.
That's the one thing about buses. You can be running fine, and then the old girl can just decide to say, "Oh, you're going nowhere anymore." You were going back to Anderson once, and it kept shutting down.
Yeah, on the flat trail.
And that's a fast part. Like, if your bus was fine, you can get up to like 80.
Well, it was pretty late. I think it was about 11 o'clock. So it wasn't really a problem, but yeah.
But of course, that happens when you just want to get the hell home.
Exactly, yeah. It's like, oh, why now?
How many times?
Probably 3 times.
And after the 3, sometimes the bus doesn't start. So every time it shut down, you were like, oh God.
Yeah, you gotta wait.
Because they won't start back up sometimes.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I think I just.
You said it was a transmission thing. The transmission was too hot or something. Hot engine and transmission, and that's the main things.
Yeah, that'll get you.
And brakes.
Brakes, yeah.
That's why you leave the retarder on a lot of the time.
Did I tell you what that time my horn kept going off?
You're-
I was doing the Route 20 and my horn, like, it would just randomly start, like, going off.
The alarm?
No, my actual horn. Like my horn.
Oh,
I was just honking for no reason. So I'm driving along, all of a sudden I'm just honking.
and you didn't have your hand on
Not
it.
at all, no, it was just there's a loose connection.
Did you call control?
I did, yeah, I had to get a new bus because I was like waiting for a bus. You know, you can't go around honking all night.
Yeah, right, obviously. Be one of the worst change-offs in the road to deal with. Is sitting there waiting for a change-off, just waiting until your loud obnoxious horn stops.
Well, you also have to have a working horn, you know what I mean? So you can't be on the road.
Because it's mandatory to change it off if it doesn't work.
Exactly, it's a safety issue.
And some drivers don't do that, and the driver who gets the bus to take over is like, why didn't you change it?
Yeah.
And that's understandable. That's a safety issue if you don't.
But you probably know why they didn't want to change it off.
Right? Because everything else is working fine.
But yeah.
And there's always a chance they could give you something. There's a 4-car train. No, this is because I'm only booked till 6 and you're not back till 5:35. You might see my dad tomorrow. He's feeling well enough to get out again, so he's like, I gotta do something again. It's like, he's really agitated from being on the couch for so long. And just not moving, right, a lot. Cooking supper and hanging out, that's about it for him. After one day of being sick, I've had it. Yeah. You had a couple week thing too. Remember when I emailed you? You were out of work for 2 weeks. And if we only had a 20-minute drive back, I would stay on, but you know,